I kind of want to jump into soccer right now in the US. So I watched the US team play against Wales the other day. Fantastic football, very, very, very good. Like the US men's team has been relatively good now for the last few tournaments. And right now they have the second youngest team. So I think that there's like actually like a really, really bright future for US soccer, especially now leading up to 2026. You know, these players are getting their first experience. They're going to mature over the next 4 years. They're going to be in their prime physically and in terms of experience. So I think that the US has a good shot at 2026 to make the World Cup really, really popular in the US. Yeah. I think it's basically going to like move soccer forward in the US dramatically. I think that there's like it's such immense opportunities. Another big factor here is the big Latino population, which culturally is more interested in soccer than in basketball. Yes. So I think that that's just going to have a huge impact. So that's going to make soccer one of the more viewed, more followed sports in the US in the next 5 to 10 years. And then you also have all these like big international players. This has been a trend now for some years that go to the US. You have German players. You have Beckham was obviously one of the first big ones to go to LA Galaxy. But you also have Ibrahimovic. You have really, really the best Swiss player. And Switzerland actually has a really, really strong team. Shaqiri is now playing in the US as well. There's still some challenges for soccer in terms of structure, and it's a young league, right? So, for example, they have a team salary cap of $5 million. So you are not allowed, and there's 3 players that can be exempted from this rule. They call it the Beckham rule, which basically they allow a team to spend more money on like 3 superstars essentially, so that they can like maybe like also import some players from Europe, import some players from Argentina, from Mexico, from Brazil. So they have 3 players that can be exempted from this rule. But this means that the $5 million salary cap essentially means that on average, the players in a US soccer team earn approximately $200,000 to $300,000 per year for being a professional athlete. If you compare that, for example, to the Bundesliga, in the Bundesliga, the average salary is $1.6 million. So it's quite a bit larger. They're planning to increase the salary cap to 13 million over the next 5 to 7 years. So I think that's a positive move. But just take a guess of what the salary cap is for NBA teams. So the soccer cap is 5 million. Do you know what the salary cap is for NBA teams?
It's going to be a wild guess, but let's say 50 million.
It's 25 million. It's 130 million.
That's
so
ridiculous.
like in the US, the top players earn $40 million, and the median NBA salary is $4 million. So this is obviously also very, very problematic. And talking about like competition between leagues, if you're really, really skilled, if you're a very skilled athlete, and let's say like you're 6'2", like 1 meter, 85 centimeters, you're good at basketball and you're good at football, and let's say like you're like a really, really gifted athlete who can become a professional athlete, and you could become a professional athlete in basketball or in soccer, you're going to choose basketball, right? And like with these like with professional athletes, honestly, all of them are good at multiple sports. Like there's video footage of LeBron James playing American football, and he's really, really good, obviously. And obviously he became an NBA player because the NBA has the highest salaries. There's also, I don't know if you know the basketball player Allen Iverson.
I have heard about him.
Yeah, he's like he's about my height, so he's like 185, pretty short for a basketball player. But in my opinion, one of the best basketball players who ever played the game. Super quick, and he was also an American football player. So there's also like a lot of footage of him, and he could have also become like a quarterback for American football, if I'm not mistaken. And he also chose the NBA because, you know, that's where the money is. So like, I think that one thing that needs to change in American football is that they need to increase the salary cap really, really quickly, right? Because if you are a top athlete and you could become a soccer player or a basketball player, you're going to choose, you're going to choose the sport that pays you more, essentially, right? And there's one German player, Musiala. He's 19 years old, and I saw video footage of him playing basketball, and he's a really amazing basketball player as well. But he now plays for Bayern Munich, and he plays in the German national team. So, like it shows that it basically this hypothesis of, athletes are going to choose like the best economic outcome. Like in the end, they're, homo economicus, they're going to do whatever like is economically right for them. They're going to take an economically rational decision. So, and Musiala is this German player who's really, really good basketball player. I saw footage of him. He like scores like several 3-pointers in a row. And like just the form that he had was really, really good. So he's like, I'm sure that he could probably be a professional basketball player as well. And he's right now, I think, actually the most talented player in the German national team. He's only 19 years old, but he's so talented. And he plays for the best German for the best German team of the Bundesliga, which is Bayern Munich. So like this hypothesis is that athletes will choose wherever they earn more money is absolutely true. So I think that's going to be one important thing that Major League Soccer is going to have to improve. And there are a few things. There are a few other things that I would do if I would be the sort of the leadership of Major League Soccer. I would first of all create a second tier league, like a second league, because right now there's no second league and there's no threat of relegation. So if you're at the bottom of the table, nothing happens, and that takes a lot of a lot of the passion away from the game. Like every game should be important. And if if you're already losing and you're kind of if you don't have title chances and you're kind of at the bottom, it doesn't really matter. But if there's like a second league and if there's like a chance or like a risk of relegation, of like losing the Major League Soccer and like having to go down to the second league,
you have something to lose.
Exactly, and I think that increases the passion for the game and makes every game much more important. So that's something I would do. And then in the long run, I would also try to create or to participate in the European Champions League, in my opinion. Like, I think that that's one way for US teams to get on the world stage. And the European Champions League is such a big event. I mean, here in Mexico, people watch Real Madrid play the Champions League. They watch Barca play the Champions League. They watch Bayern Munich play the Champions League. They watch Manchester United play the Champions League. Those are the games that are also shown here on TV. They're shown on TV and on globally, and everyone watches them. So the Champions League is the most important league in the world. And I would just try to get like 4 American teams to participate in the Champions League. I think that would be kind of one way to like associate yourself with the elite and kind of get that brand recognition and start going onto global stage. And that's kind of maybe like a long-term plan.